So how is De'Aaron Fox fitting in so far?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hey, happy Monday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs right here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Ken Spy San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a good, fun Super Bowl Sunday. I know a lot of y'all definitely celebrated the big game. So I hope you had a good time with friends, family, and back to work, right? Yeah, it's just not fun. Go from Super Bowl Sunday till Monday. Not fun at all. As always, subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, Ken Spy Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Sign up right now. Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below on YouTube. There's a link there that says LO Spurs newsletter. Completely free sign up today. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. So, yeah, make sure to go over FanDuel right now. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at De'Aaron Fox. You know, we got a very small sample size, just 3 games, but still, what are we seeing so far? Early signs of him fitting in, things going right, things going wrong. I think something is going wrong. Well, we'll hit that in a bit. But what are we seeing so far from De'Aaron Fox now that he's a Spur? And then the Spurs rodeo trip continues tonight. They go to D.C. to take on the Wizards. You know, before yesterday, the other game against Orlando, I would have said, Spurs got this game. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know this team anymore. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But yeah, De'Aaron Fox, 3 games in, right? So far, so good. There are little bumps along the way, sure. But, you know, those things I think will sort out itself. But he is still that missing piece. It's going to take time to mesh in. But 3 games in, I think there's a lot. I think, and we'll see what our guest says, there's more positive than negative. There is one big negative. We're going to hit on that in just a few minutes. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. He is Jack Thompson. I cannot say formerly with San Antonio's sports star anymore. I can't. His new project finally launched, everybody. First of all, follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. There you were to find his new project, which got released just days ago. It's a baby still. I think the handle right there on your screen at RBTL210. Read between the lines. Well, first of all, congratulations, Jack.
Thank you, my friend. Yep, I've been working on it for quite a while. Was very excited to get it going last week during the trade deadline, especially after that Fox news.
Yeah, good timing too. Waiting until the trade deadline, perfect timing. Brag about his new baby in just a few minutes. Again, follow him on X at Jack_Thompson33. All right, Jack. So far, Fox is here. He is here. He's wearing that silver and black jersey. By the way, is it just me, or it feels like he's always been a Spur? Like sometimes people wear new jerseys. You're like, it looks weird. You know, it looks perfect on him.
It does, yeah. The silver and black looks really good on him for sure.
Yeah, but we got a 3-game sample. Look, everybody, I know, I get it. It's just 3 games. Don't get all riled up. We understand that. But you start to see early signs of positive stuff, and there is a big negative one. Which one do you want to do first, the negative or the positive?
Let's go with the positive first.
All right, let's start off with the positive. My first positive, Jack, is the pace. They're getting up. They are getting up fast. Prior to Fox's addition, the Spurs were out of the top 10. They were kind of in the middle of the pack as far as pacing is concerned. And pace had been a bad problem for the Spurs. They were losing to teams that run on them. From your Chicago's to your Memphis's, teams like that get up and down were really beating the Spurs. Well, in the last 3 games, the Spurs are now in the top 10. They're number 8 in pace, coincidentally, with Fox's arrival at 100.3. So right off the bat, that was something I really wanted to see from the Spurs, Jack, when they brought in De'Aaron Fox, is get up faster, go. And we're seeing that. They're running when he's on the court. The pace is up. It's so far leading to early leads. More on that later. And I like that. Fox bringing that speed. I think the Spurs needed that. Jack, your thoughts?
Yeah, we saw it in game 1. We looked like a completely different team. We were outrunning everyone. Fox leading the break with like the maestro he is. And his speed is just unbelievable to me. On offense and defense, his ability to just keep people in front of him by sliding his feet or, breaking out loose on the break, he's, he takes one step and he's already 3 steps ahead of everybody else. It's ridiculous how quick and fast De'Aaron Fox is, and that trickles down the rest of the lineup. You see someone on your team moving that fast, you kind of up your game. You got to move fast too and keep up. And yeah, it has really turned the pace of our team, 3-6, like one complete 180. We're a whole different team now.
Yeah.
With the way we move up and down the court. So that is definitely a huge positive. And, there's some wrinkles that will be ironed out, the more these guys play with each other. But I've been very, very happy with the way I've seen Fox play this far.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So far, we go to some of the numbers here. We're looking at some averages. So in the last 3 games, he's averaging out, and they're throwing him out there quick, Jack, 35 minutes a game since he's arrived in San Antonio. He's giving you about 18.3 points per game, and he's shooting about 46% and 28% from the 3 line. And let's see, you got some other stats here. I like this one, Jack. In the last 3 games, 9.3 assists. So he's facilitating. A lot of people think that he's just kind of a scorer. That's it. No, more than less. No, he's a facilitator. Talk about the space. Let's start off this segment. All in all, pretty good. And by the way, 2.7 steals. Nearly 3 steals a game since he became a Spur. So it's giving you a little bit of offense, giving you a little bit of defense. I don't think those numbers are going to improve. Jack, what's been standing out for you, though?
Yeah, I mean, the way that he's been able to attack the basket, get by people one-on-one and get to the rim. I mean, we really only have one other guy that can do that on the team, and Stephon Castle. So to have another, guard on the team that can break down a defense, suck, people towards him, and find open guys on the perimeter, it's been fantastic. And like you said, his vision on the court, his assist level has been amazing for the Spurs. It's not necessarily something that we were chasing when we got him. I would say he's exceeded expectations in that regard thus far, with averaging nearly 10 assists per game in his first 3 games. But I think what really has stood out for me the most has been the defense. He's been sliding his feet, keeping people in front of him, stopping the, transition, because he's so fast. He can get out in front of the ball. And like you said, the 3 steals a game, that's huge for us too, because that's just more opportunities to go down and get the ball in the bucket. So for me, that's what's jumped out the most. We're going to be going to him in clutch time. You've seen it in the past 2 games. One game, it worked perfectly. The second game, or the third game rather, it fell a little short. He was 0.2 seconds away from getting us that dub, but yeah, it's gonna work out really, really well. The Spurs, while De'Aaron Fox is a huge bonus, at the end of the day, if we can't clean up defensive rebounding when Wemby's not in there, we're gonna look a lot of the same. You're gonna lose big leads, and our defensive rotations still need a lot of work too. So while we've taken a huge step forward with getting Fox, there's still obviously glaringly a whole lot more that needs to be done.
Oh, I mean, you're not kidding me. Harrison Barnes, after the game versus Orlando, said that in a nutshell, he says the team's around 50, the 50 game mark. He goes, there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be happening and it's still happening. And he also said, yes, attention to details. So, but the Spurs have been losing some heartbreakers, but Fox has been one of the better bright spots. Keep on looking at some of the things that he's doing good. We'll get into the negative in a while, and I think everybody knows what the negative is. I like this, Jack. If you look at some of the numbers here, I'm looking at the rebounding. There we go. Rebounding. 3.3 rebounds a game. All right. So he's getting you some rebounds. And a lot of the numbers have dropped. I know we're not getting to the negative yet, from Sacramento to San Antonio. For example, when it was Sacramento before the trade, 5 rebounds, San Antonio 3 rebounds. All right. Free throw percentage in Sacramento, 83%. Right now, 63%. So that's taking a tumble. But I'm not bringing it up to rain on the parade. I'm bringing it up because it's only been 3 games. And if you extrapolate the numbers that we've thrown out, I think they're going to improve incrementally. What do you think about you? You think this is just the tip of the iceberg? You think this is just more kind of a feeling out process the Spurs and Fox are in right now?
Right. It's been what seems to be pretty seamless for Fox. He's come in and put in really good numbers, but you got to think about like the week that this man has had.
Oh yeah.
The trade deadline stress. Am I getting moved? Am I going to have to stay here? Where am I going to go? Then he gets moved and he's immediately just on the road for a month straight with the Spurs. That's going to take the toll mentally. I think a lot of that is where the free throws are at. That'll definitely even out. That's going to even out for sure. The points will come. I would say that he's probably going to average around the same between, 20 to 25, somewhere in there is where we want him to be landing. And a lot of that right now is he's still trying to figure out where he's going to be able to consistently go and get his shots. And lastly, I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and it's something that I didn't really think about when we got Fox. With him being a left-handed guard, all the plays that we were running prior were for right-handed Chris Paul to make the pass. So basically every play now has to have a mirror of itself going left. And he can go right too, but left is obviously his strong suit. So now we're running plays to the opposite side. So that's going to take a little bit of time for everybody to get adjusted.
Yeah. And overall, the impact has been positive. I think this is just still the adjustment period. Give it time. Just as much, he has to adjust to his new teammates. New teammates got to adjust to him. You talk about the left-handed ability that he has. They're going to get used to that as well. And even Wemby, think about it too. Wemby's going to have to adjust to him, Fox, because now he has that running mate. And it's not just all Wemby. How can Wemby, help him out? Whether setting a pick or, rolling hard to the rim, whatever it is, they got to get adjusted. And by the way, you brought up the pick and roll situation. Yeah. Another good positive is having two threats to run the PNR with Wemby, Chris Paul, and Fox. You want to go to the right PNR? Perfect. Left PNR? Perfect. We're good. I think that's what, you're going to start seeing that flourish. So I think although the numbers have decreased, again, it's just been 3 games, still the adjustment period. Give it time. I think it's going to work out. Everybody can see it. It's obvious. Jack was supremely happy on the emergency lockdown we did when they brought in Fox. So it's just, so far so good. But there are some bad things. Yeah, there are some things that need to be fixed quick. I think y'all know what it is. We'll talk about that in just a few seconds with Jack Thompson. Now, I was about to say formerly with. See, it's stuck in my head now. I can't say that anymore. I can't. He's with Read Between the Lines. Yes, the new project he had recently launched. Follow him on X at RBTL210. It's right there. Make sure you do that immediately because some good stuff that they're putting out. But first, let's talk about Skims.
When I found out Skims was making underwear for men, I was intrigued. I've heard so much about their quality from friends and family. I had to give it a try, and let me tell you, it lives up to the hype. I've always had issues with underwear, fit, comfort, or just finding the right style. For me, Skims changed all that. Their men's line offers something for everyone, from boxer briefs to classic briefs, all designed with the perfect balance of comfort and style. I've tried Skims boxer briefs, and let me tell you, I am hooked. These are perfect for my active lifestyle. They move with me, never lose shape, and stay in place all day. Whether I'm working out or just running errands, they're the most comfortable and reliable underwear I've ever owned. Plus, the lightweight material feels amazing. It's like you're wearing nothing at all. Shop Skims Men at skims.com and Skims stores. Let them know that we sent you. After you place your order, select Podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. And if you're looking for the perfect gift for your Valentine or for yourself, Skims just launched their best Valentine shop ever. Available in sizes for men, women, kids, and even pets.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Jack Thompson with Read Between the Lines. You can follow that on X at RBTL210. It's on there on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. He's going to talk more about it. What is it? It's good times right there, from NBA to football to everything else in between. Read Between the Lines has you covered. So, Jack, we talk about some of the good that we're seeing early from Fox's arrival in San Antonio. Let's talk about the bad. Let's talk about the big bad is the starting unit. and
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
Yeah.
I think it's glaring obvious. It's kind of a bad mix right now. It's not a total complete, crash the car into the wall. It's not there. It's not like, remember when Sohan was running point guard? That was like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? This was like, something's off here. Chris Paul, you're going to have to take a seat. Steph Castle, come on back to starting five. Why is that such a big issue right now? Why is that a major negative since Fox's arrival in the starting five?
I mean, the biggest thing is Chris Paul, he can't guard anyone. He's not a pesky defender. Guys get by him super easily. He gets picked on in the pick and roll, all that type of stuff. He's just not the defender he used to be because his body, just can't let him do that anymore. It just doesn't work like that. And he's just getting picked on. And while we were able to put up with that prior because we needed his assist numbers, his floor general, his IQ on the court, now it's become a detriment because we have that in Fox. We don't need two guys like that out there like that. And it's really hurting the Spurs right now. We get Castle in the lineup. We see the numbers that he's putting up right now. I mean, Castle is absolutely balling. It's like such an easy fix with, putting Castle in the lineup for Chris Paul. But at the end of the day, I think it boils down to, is Chris Paul's ego going to allow him to come off the bench? And as of right now, we can see that is certainly not the case.
He said he came to San Antonio to play, to get some hoops in, and with the arrival of Fox and the quick rising star of Steph Castle, that may need to change. I gotta wonder, do you think the Spurs will have that conversation with him? Just even if they started off like, let's just try it out for a couple of games. They're permanent. Let's just see how it works. Maybe to let him see that maybe that lineup can get W's. Because ultimately, if he's a team player, he's a point guard, all about the team, then I think he would get it. I also got to think he has to see it. Like, he has to see what Castle is doing in the recent games. He has to see how Fox and Castle could work a lot better than himself and Fox. But again, it's not a total, we said, car destroyed in an accident. It's not that bad. It's just the defense gets exposed. I mean, Chris Paul's still facilitating. He's still giving you a good amount of assists, giving you the occasional 3-point shot and whatnot. Hey, it could come back to this, Jack, just like, hey, it's not how you start, how you finish, Chris Paul. We need you in crunch time. You're going to be out there. I mean, but it is a delicate topic because you're talking about, a soon-to-be Hall of Famer. And what do you do? And, the waiver wire has passed. I don't think you can release players. They're going to get attached to teams anymore, right? I think that's passed.
No, I think you can still cut players and then they can be brought in. I think that's all the way up until like much closer to the playoffs.
Okay, right, yeah. But I think there's a rule there where certain, like if you're a playoff team, you can't add more players. You got to submit your playoff roster or something like that. But if they're gonna go that route, then if he is not a happy camper, then sooner than later. I don't know, but that is just the biggest glaring not fit right now. It has nothing to do with Fox. It has everything to do with CP3. Well, I guess it does have with Fox because a Fox and Castle combo will look a lot better. You got an offensive threat, you got an offensive and defensive threat. No knock on Castle. Fox. We look at some of the numbers. He's bringing some defensive numbers, but my God, I mean, that'd be just great. Imagine having two young bucks out there and you're starting five. Jack, your thoughts?
It seems like so easy to me. I don't understand why it didn't look like that from the beginning. I mean, we just saw Castle go for his career high. He is on a different level right now than basically anybody else on the team. He's been our, really our best player over the past couple games, with Wemby still dealing with whatever illness he's working through right now. Castle has been picking up his slack, without even trying. It seems like he does everything so effortlessly out on the court And man, oh man, I can't wait to see him in that dunk contest. I feel like he's going to surprise us with some pretty awesome stuff. I'm super stoked for that.
Yeah, I had Spurs exec come on Locked On Spurs last week, and he told me, he's like, yeah, I already seen him in practice. Yeah, he's throwing down some stuff that fans are going to really enjoy. So can't wait to see that. But another negative too, and again, it goes back to, I don't know if it's a negative or a positive. I'm just sliding in the negative side of the pile here, is the ball. There's only one ball. And once everything gets going, Jack, and they start getting the rhythm, is that going to negatively impact Wemby's numbers? Is that going to negatively impact Vassell? Because De'Aaron was the guy in Sacramento that the ball was in his hands. It can even impact him. What if he has to, I went from Sabonis to Wembanyama and, big jump there. Wemby's still the main guy. Am I going to become a black hole? If I get the ball and I start doing all my stuff and then I start doing what I used to do in Sacramento, and then Wemby's there like, yo, what's up? Do you think that could emerge as a problem as Fox continues to integrate himself into the system?
I certainly, like you said, there is only one ball out on the court. And for me, the first person that really has to start affecting is Devin Vassell. I think he's out of the odd man. And for me right now, between our major four players with our Fox, Castle, Devin, and Wemby, Devin, for me, would have to be the guy that takes a step back, even if that's just moving into the, off the bench, 6-man role. You can still put up as many shots as you are. You're playing with different lineups. That might also help Chris Paul off the bench. For me, I think the first one to take a back seat is going to be Devin Vassell. Mm-hmm. I think while it may affect Fox's and Wemby's numbers, well, I don't really think Wemby's numbers will be affected at all. I think he's going to be able to still do and put up however many shots he, has on his mind for that evening. I think it in the long run, maybe it affects his Fox's numbers, and that may not just because of playing with Wemby, but also he's now got another ball dominant guard with him and Castle that is really starting to take off. Yes. So while we may see a dip in his scoring, we may see a rise in his offensive efficiency, his assist numbers, just stuff like that also are really conducive to winning rather than just scoring points. So while we may see a dip in the numbers, we may see a rise in the efficiency level and assists that Fox will bring to the table.
Here's something else that I thought about, where I don't know where to put in the positive or the negative pile here, but I don't know if you saw, but during the Orlando game, it was a controversial call, out of bounds thing, and Fox wouldn't let it go. I don't know if you saw that. Fox was in the ref's ear and just constantly, he was even from the moment the possession happened, when it gets to Spurs, he just was on the refs. Okay, timeout, on the refs, walking away, yelling at the refs. After timeout, coming back in the court, trying to defend the inbounder. He's yelling, he's still yapping at the refs. He wouldn't let it go. And it was a tight game at that time. I was like, oh my God, Fox, please don't get attacked. Don't get attacked. This is the worst time to get attacked. And it was Spurs were up by 1 or down by 1. It was just a tight game for Orlando. So, I don't know if that's the side of Fox that obviously we haven't seen because, we don't really follow the Kings prior to Fox's arrival. But, if he has that kind of temperament with refs, I think that needs to take a step back. Again, that could just be a one-off thing. I don't think that was his reputation coming from Sacramento to San Antonio, or even in Sacramento as a guy who gets in the refs' faces. But I did notice that. Did you notice that during the game?
No, it was the play where Franz Wagner went and he grabbed the rebound, and while he was doing that, he was jumping out of bounds and called timeout. Well, it looked pretty obvious that he really didn't have, true possession on the court when he called the timeout. And we were down 1 at that point. So it was a huge play. So I understand Fox's frustration. And yeah, I mean, he's a chippy guy. He gets, emotions get the best of him from time to time, but I would certainly not say that that's his reputation. He's more cool, calm, collected on the court than that.
Very cool.
But I have seen him. He gets fired up. He's a competitive guy, and sometimes, your emotions just get the best of you, and that was an important call. So I get him chirping with the refs, but I don't think I've ever seen De'Aaron Fox get a tech in the NBA.
Right.
I don't think he was saying anything disrespectful to the refs. He was just letting them know that they were not, that was not the right call in that moment. So, yeah, I think that's just reading a little bit, too much into it. I don't think that's going to be a problem with Fox at all.
Not at all. But so far through 3 games, Fox has been fitting in seamlessly. And it's only going to get better. Again, if I want to look at some stats that are concerning, I guess the only thing I could think of is just free throw percentage. 63%. But he's only gone to the free throw line about 2.7 times in the last 3 games. So there's that. Any other things? Turnovers are not that bad. 2 turnovers a game. It's not terrible in the last 3 games of the Spurs.
Yeah, if we're with the Spurs right now, he has so he's got 28 assists to 6 turnovers. That's
good.
Pretty dang good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. He's a little bit of a foul guy, though. Again, that could just be adjusting to San Antonio. 3.3 fouls in the last 3 games, so we need to keep an eye on that. But again, it's just a 3-game sample. We get that, but if you're going to put on a weight scale here, it leans definitely towards positive than negative. When Fox is, by far, he's fit in perfectly. He is Jack Thompson with a read between the lines. He'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But coming up next, we're going to be looking at tonight's game, Spurs-Wizards. It should be a win with us. I don't know anymore, Jeff. I don't know anymore with this Spurs team. We're going to break down tonight's game, Spurs-Washington, just a few seconds. But first, let's talk about FanDuel.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on that than with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature because it keeps every moment of the game exciting. Whether I'm backing my team for a late game rally or picking a player to hit a clutch 3, I never feel like I miss a chance. Plus, with the app, it's easy to use. When you win, you get paid instantly. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You just want to go to FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. How about that? Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
This is Homer Simpson, and you are listening to my favorite Spurs podcast, Locked on Spurs. Donuts.
We're back right here on Locked on Spurs with Jack Thompson with Read Between the Lines. He's going to talk about that in just a few seconds. And make sure to subscribe to Locked on Spurs where you get your favorite podcast. All right, Spurs-Wizards tonight. The rodeo trip continues. Game 4, I believe, on that trip. It should be a Spurs win, Jack. But I don't know anymore with this team. I'm not confident with this team to say, oh, yeah, they're just going to mop the floor with Washington. You lose the way you lose to Orlando. You lose those leads that we've been seeing. They get down, or it's just been a mess. But on paper, Jack, the Spurs should get a W.
Yeah, on paper, we're going up arguably against the worst team in the NBA. They're 9-43. Yeah. They just traded Kyle Kuzma. They just traded Valanciunas. So they're down 2 of their main guys. We should walk in there and take care of business without any sort of problem. But that's what I thought we would do against that G League team. We saw the Hornets roll out against us. So, we saw how that went. So unless we can quit playing down to teams' levels and play consistently at our level, it's going to look like that night in and night out. We're literally playing to the other team's level. Last night we went up against a really, really good Orlando team. They're a playoff team in the East. They've got 2 all-star caliber guys like us. And we played to their level. And we almost won. And then the game before, we literally played against the Hornets, who had 2 recognizable NBA guys starting with them, LaMelo and Miles Bridges. The rest of those guys are, from the trash heap in the G League and just come get minutes.
Brandon Miller wasn't even playing.
No, Brandon Miller wasn't playing. I mean, Mark Williams wasn't playing because of the trade talks. They didn't have anyone out there, but Musa Diabate was their 6'8" center, and they had a bunch of other two-way and G League guys running around there giving us buckets. So until we can learn to play at our level and not the level of our opponent, it's not going to be a pretty. So hopefully we can come in and play at our level and, beat these guys down like we should. But until I see it consistently, I'm not going to believe it. So we'll see.
Me neither. I got to see if the Spurs set the tone early, and they better tonight versus Washington, because you don't want to give this this struggling Washington any life. They've lost 9 straight home games in their gym, so that bodes well for the Spurs. However, if we get some of the numbers here, they're crashing the boards of late, so they're kind of getting on an upward trend as far as offensive rebound. They're creating second chance points, 2 consecutive games of out offensive rebounding their opponent in the last 2 games. So just keep an eye on that. Obviously, I think the big kind of feature will be Sarr versus Wemby, the 2 Frenchmen, 2 top picks.
And Koulibaly.
Draft. And Koulibaly, yep, a little reunion there. That's Wemby's buddy. So should be a nice French reunion for those 3 guys. But
we also get the Champagne Bros.
San Antonio Bros are there, and then I believe Middleton, right? Might make his debut. Yeah.
Yep.
Middleton might make his debut. So, on paper, the Wizards have only won 9 games, bottom of the heap in the NBA, but this team can be a little pesky. They definitely can. Look at some of their players that got on board. Kyle Kuzma's gone, but Valanciunas is gone. But yeah, I mean, Corey Kispert. Why can't I see Kispert just going off on the Spurs tonight? Just lining them up from 3 because they can't defend the 3 line.
Yeah, I mean that's the only way this team will beat us is if we let Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert get really comfortable from behind the arc.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, just looking at this team, this is a really bad team. We should go in. This should be a 20-point W easily. Just looking at their roster. So hopefully the Spurs can wake up a little bit and play to their own level and not the level of their competition. Because we see what we do in close games. It's not pretty.
And the Wizards are exactly what the Spurs need right now to cure whatever ails them. But
yes,
obviously for me, another thing that has to happen tonight is just rebounding. Oh my God. You have Wemby on the court. But it's a knock on Wemby right now. I think his rebounding numbers should be a lot better than what they are.
I think so for sure. I think he's gassed. He's got no bigs to help him. He's just so gassed. And he's sick. Spurs. I just don't understand why we didn't go and get a center. I mean, that tells me it's not playoffs or bust this year. We're fully fine with winning games or losing games and getting a better draft pick. I think that's just what it boils down to, because if we were really trying to make a playoff push or a play-in push, we would have gone after a backup center, because Jeremy and Harrison Barnes guarding the opposition's backup center is not it at all.
Yeah. I mean, but Jack, they added Bismack Biyombo. Yay.
And someone that'll bang around. I mean, that's good at least. But he's literally older Charles Bassey. So.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, exactly. It was a big, yes, but not the right big the Spurs needed to add. I mean, Mo Bamba. I think Mo Bamba's still out there as far as this recording.
Mo Bamba's still out there. Daniel Tice is still out there. I would take either of them.
Good Lord. Yeah, me too. But Spurs bring in Bismack. No knock
I
to
do
you,
like-
Bismack. They're knocking you.
I like Bismack because he's a bully. He'll go out there. He's gonna let you know he's around you. He's a physical dude, and I do appreciate that. I think the Spurs need a lot more of that. So that should be a little bright spot for his 10-day. But that's still at the end. He's obviously not.
It's not. It's not what the Spurs need. Other numbers you got to keep an eye on is the Spurs have been they're on a losing streak on the road right now. They have been out rebounded in the last few games. I think 3 straight games getting out rebounded by the opposition. So for me, the key is just controlling that boards tonight and then keying on those 3-point shots. And I think if they just do that, it should be fine. You know, I would love to see Wemby have a Wemby game. I know he's been under the weather. By the way, I was also told it's not just Wemby who's sick. Apparently, like a lot of players and staff got sick from the French trip. And then we were going back. I was told that there was a bug that everybody on the planes, everybody got sick. So it's not just Wemby that's feeling it too. So there was a bug going around. So they brought it to the plane. What else? But anyway, you know, it's really good. I love to see him have a Wemby night. We haven't had one in a while. I don't know about just, again, the sickness and then trying to incorporate Fox. And it could be a bad double combo there. But love to see him just really go off. And what also, too, you know, I love to, you know, for Castro to send him a star that rookie of the year is his. I would love for that to happen. Because they're kind of like, you know, up there in the mix for Rookie of the Year award. You know, if Castro's going to separate himself from the pack, and I think he's starting to, you know, what better way to send a message to Sark? Hey, I'm the better rookie. I'll have the better game tonight. So I love to see that happen as well. Jack, we need to know about Read Between the Lines. What's that new project you just recently launched? We've got to know all about it and where they can follow.
Yeah, Read Between the Lines right down there. RBTL 210. It's just been something that, you know, me and my brother and one of my best friends, Louie, we've been talking about getting it together for a while. We really put that in kind of a higher gear once the new year started. We wanted to get it going. And then once we saw the Fox news starting to heat up, we knew we had to have something, you know, at least ready to go once that news broke, because it was going to be so big around around San Antonio and around the NBA. And then after that, I mean, we saw Luka get moved too. So
yeah,
it was just a perfect storm for us to try and get out there and get our names out there and what we have to say out there. It's Read Between the Lines. We're pretty basketball centric. You know, me and my brother, we're both, you know, hoop heads. Louis too, he's a big basketball guy, but we want to break into, you know, talking about other sports as well. We just put out a Super Bowl preview. You can find it on our Twitter or X or what have you. And then we do have a website attached to the X as well that you can find the link on our page in the bio. But yeah, we're just going to put out, you know, weekly stories, weekly blurbs, lots of tweets. Eventually we're going to get some video podcasts going, probably start off with audio for a bit. We're still trying to gain a little bit more traction so that when we do finally launch some video, we get some decent views in there. But yeah, it's just taking it one step at a time, having fun with it. Something we've been trying to create for a while. So it's a little baby right now, trying to nourish it right, get it big. But yeah, we're super excited.
Well, congratulations, Jack. I know you've been hyped for it for a few days after you kind of were teasing it already here on Locked On Spurs, but it's finally here. Again, Read Between the Lines. You don't have to read between the lines. Just go sign up or go check out my website right now. Read Between the Lines. And follow them on X at Read Between the Lines 210, as well as Jack at Jack Thompson. I'm sorry, Jack Thompson 33. Make sure you do that right now. Giving us the 3 goggles. See, gives you know what? That'd be a great segment for you guys, or even to post the 3 goggles segment.
Yeah, it would.
That you could incorporate somehow to that, some sort of thing there. I think that'd be a good one. Then maybe somebody have like an animation or a graphic of you doing the 3 goggles, like Jack's 3 goggles posts, and that'd be fun. That'll be great. He is Jack Thompson with Read Between the Lines. Again, make sure to follow Read Between the Lines at RBTL210. Do that right now. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black as the rodeo trip continues and the season continues. A lot more before the Spurs get home for a while. Wow, back till next month.
You know,
We'll keep you going here on Locked On Spurs. And subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, KenSpy Plus app, YouTube, newsletter, Locked On Spurs newsletter. It's in the description below on YouTube. There's a link there. Click on that. Completely free. Hits your email inbox every single day. For Jack Thompson, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock in this episode of Locked On Spurs.